Hello folks, I'm sitting under a wishing well at the moment. There's some cutting grass in the background, so I hope it's not too disturbing. Let me put the noise reduction on. So yeah, I'm sitting under a wishing well at the moment, and it got me thinking, if you was to wish for something which would make this country great, wherever you're listening from, but let's say England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and you was to have one wish, what would it be? Now, I'm fairly confident, bearing the, shall we say, the latest news and conversations, that it will be tied around immigration, maybe. And I don't disagree with that. I sympathise with that and agree with it. However, I think that the problems are much deeper than that. That the immigration issue is only a symptom of a deadly disease that started long, long ago. And most people have been distracted by the noise of what's going on, instead of really thinking about this. I'm not an expert in history. I like history. I like modern history, reading about the Industrial Revolution, the changes in this country after the war, what it was like before the war. I like medieval history, going right back to the Anglo-Saxon times. Like I say, I'm not an expert, but I've read quite a lot about it. What I have learned is that the underlying problems of this country started obviously before the war, but we can home in after the war, when a lot of our men, young men, went to war and never came back. Much of our infrastructure was destroyed by the Nazis, and we had to sort of start again. Houses were blown up, they had to build new housing, new towns. And I think this helped with part of the problem. Let me explain. For the first time, communities which had lived a very stable existence were now broken. This new housing had to be built, new towns were built, which took quite a long time, right up until the 1960s. And when they did start rebuilding, it wasn't with communities in mind, it was putting people in pigeon boxes, tall blocks, ugly buildings. From the 1950s to 1960s, we were building ugly instead of beautiful. And this started to tell us a lot of the way of the thinking of the British people. Rationing, which was introduced during the war for obvious reasons, went right up until the 50s. And then suddenly, when rationing stopped, people started to feel free in the wider sense of the word. Freedom to do what they wanted, freedom to buy. They had a bit more money in their pocket. And they thought, this is it. Utopia has finally come back to the people of Britain. Now, this freedom, this word freedom, got latched upon by ideological parties, political parties. And as we entered the 60s, the term free love became part of the common vocabulary of the British people. It was imported from America, yes, indeed, but it soon took hold as communications became faster, more television programs, more television channels. Don't forget there was no mobile phone then, but it did change. And our young people, through lack of, I don't know what to say, teaching, or that they turn their back on the teaching, thought that this free love, this free everything, was the way to go. They started to latch on to other countries' problems, other people's problems, not dealing with their own problems and looking in their own lives, but projecting themselves as victims onto other people. And this is carried on till today. This is as I said, a very, very wide subject, a very big subject. But my emphasis is coming from that this is more than just a physical, material problem. It's a spiritual problem. It started in dark places and it's leading us into very, very dark places. And I want to use my observation of being a British English person who is now 66 years old and has seen an East Ender, working class family, working class myself. I've seen changes and my observations are relevant. I don't care what names you call me. So I'm going to give you just something to think about by my observations. And that's what the next couple of videos will be about. That what we're seeing today, immigration, is only a symptom of what we, the English, British, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, for various reasons, allowed to happen well before immigration became an issue. I hope you follow me on this journey. God bless you all. God bless England. God bless Great Britain.